Hey everybody, John Felt here. This is the Blue Water Outlook weekly weather briefing. We're ending June 30th, 2024. 4th of July weekend is upcoming and there's a lot going on across the nation. Big contrasts in temperature. Some areas bone dry, other areas getting a soaking rain. Let's throw in a hurricane and severe storms as well. So a lot to talk about. Let's get started right away. Well, let's highlight the threats this week that I'll be talking about. I'll be talking about flooding, severe storms over the upper Midwest and the East Coast. I'll be talking about very hot weather in some areas, and I will be talking about tropical weather, including a hurricane. So last week we also had, as far as action spots, what we had the highest temperatures made it up to 100 degrees anywhere in orange here. So right through the plains in the southeast U.S. hit 100 degrees, the desert southwest 110. So a lot of hot weather. We take a look at the action as far as severe storms, and hot weather is conducive to the formation of derechos or windstorms, and they typically form as hail producing, that's pink, transition into wind producing storms, that's yellow, and we saw quite a bit of that last week due to the heat energy of the day. But we also had some cooler weather. Take a look at the extremes last Wednesday, 29 degrees in Montana, all the way up to 120 in Death Valley. I'm also looking at quite a bit of flooding that's been going on for quite some time. Now, remember, this originated a number of weeks ago with that very heavy rain in this area right in here. And what it has done is produce this flood flow, and it's attenuating. So what it's doing is it's coming down here, and it is this is moderate flooding, minor flooding, high within bank flow. Major flooding, including Burlington, and then minor to moderate, and by the time it gets to Cape Girardeau, it's high within bank flows. Why is that? Because there's not much rain down in this area. It's all coming from up here. The problem is we're getting repeated week-to-week rains, so it's broadening that crest, extending that crest, or giving us some pulses of additional high water. And this is what we had last week. You can see those areas in yellow. That's on the lower Missouri or the upper Mississippi, 1 to 3 inches of rain. And we're going to get that sort of a teaser. We're going to get that again this week. Probably not going to give us higher flows. It's just going to make that crest longer, broader, or else bring it maybe a little bit further downstream. As far as temperatures go last week, it was a hot week over most parts of the nation, 6 degrees or more in those darker shades of brown. As we get towards shades of red, 10 degrees warmer than normal. But we do have a cold front passing through, bringing some cooler air and some drier air into the Midwest and Great Lakes. You can see that pushing those dew points off to the east. To the south of that front, very muggy conditions, mid to upper 70s, even 82 degrees. That is just a sopping wet dew point. Okay, so here's the flood situation. I talked about that earlier. I wanted to show you also that we have quite a few areas also experiencing low flows. That's the image on the right, especially along the mid-Atlantic region, eastern U.S., and other parts of the nation. So those areas need some more rain. So as far as the forecast goes, what we're going to have here is we have this amplified flow. Now, if you remember my briefings from way back last winter, I talked a lot about an amplified flow. And one of the things of climate change is an amplified flow. That's what we see. We talk about it more in winter, but we're seeing this in summer. And summertime, you really sort of expect this time of year sort of a lazy jet stream up towards the northern tier of the U.S., but we are still really pushing a jet stream north, unusually far north in the west, and that dip in the jet stream in the east. And that becomes even more pronounced by the end of the week. And what that means is we're going to have some areas of the country experiencing record heat, other areas of the country experiencing some really nice weather. And you can see it here on these 5-day chunks of temperature forecast going out through the middle of July. If you're in Iowa, you can expect a really nice stretch of weather ahead. If you're on the East Coast or in the West Coast, especially the Northeast or a large part of the West, some really hot weather. I'll give you an example here. Here's Sioux Falls. Lows in the 60s, near 60, highs near 80, maybe even in the 70s. So some really nice weather. If you're in Sacramento, California, you are looking at 100 degrees plus temperatures all week long. So big contrast. Now, I talk a lot about the tropics, and the tropics have really lit up over the last week. We have a number of systems, and this would be, if you just look at this map here with these 3 areas of interest, you'd say this might be September. Nope, it's only June, and that's reflecting that unusually hot water. And we do have Hurricane Beryl. It's already 115 mile an hour winds. It's moving west at 20, and that M here is indicating that is expected to become a major hurricane. So let's keep an eye on it. It's heading sort of towards Jamaica and south of Puerto Rico, and it's going to pick up all that heat energy from the ocean. Let's keep an eye on that this week. I'll keep you updated. So as far as rainfall goes this week, we have this monsoon flow here. That's needed rain in the desert southwest. But again, 1 to 3 inches of rain. I talked about this a lot, and that is giving us soggy fields for one thing, and it's also going to be bringing that rain down the lower Missouri and the upper Mississippi. And finally, let's go into our extended outlook, and I'm going to put a little bit of a question mark here because I sort of think that cooler air is going to last a little bit longer, but it does look like it could quiet down a bit as far as the rain in week 2. We'll see. Anyway, have a great 4th of July, and I will be talking with you again next weekend. Have a great week. Take care.